We're going to wrap up movies in 2024. Let's talk about them right now. Wrap up movies. Wrap up movies. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to jump right into my top 10. It's going to be a little bit more than that because we're going to have some honorable mentions here. It was kind of a tough year because it was only a few standouts. Everything else was kind of just average or above average, but nothing was like, it was only a couple of movies that were like, this is awesome. And I know I'm going to have hot takes here. Everybody's going to be like, I hated that movie. I can't believe this is in your top 10. I'm going to probably get that a lot. This is a lot of hot takes here. But yeah, so before we start, remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can, and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my reviews. There are reviews for every one of these. This is all the stuff I saw. Every one of these on my channel. So you just have to search them out if you want to see my full review. We're not going to really get into reviews here. We're just going to, I'm just going to talk like a couple of sentences about it. And that's pretty much about the extent of it. But before we talk about what I have little note cards here. I'll be lucky to actually be able to read what's on here. Next time I do this, I'm gonna have to do this like bigger. But I want to talk about everything I saw. So all the movies I saw for this year are on these three little notepads. And you can see there's like 20 or 30 of them on each cart. So, yeah, so let's talk about what I saw here. So, we're going to start with Kung Fu Panda. I'm going to read these off real quick. Kung Fu Panda 4, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Abigail, Civil War, First Omen, Monkey Man, High Heat. This includes stuff that was streaming, by the way. High Heat, To Catch a Killer, Godzilla and Kong, Roadhouse, Immaculate, Love Lies Bleeding, Damsel, Dune 2, Drive Away Dolls, One Love, that was the biopic, Madam Web, Lisa Frankenstein, Griselda, Argyle, ISS, Poor Things, Role Play, Lift, The Beekeeper, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, Subservience, Carry On, Sonic, that was the new one, The Fire Inside, Craven, Speak No Evil, Werewolves, Bonhoeffer, Gladiator 2, Red 1, Rebel Ridge. I'm surprised I'm reading all this. This chicken scratch, man. Harold and the Purple Crayon, Heretic, which I only saw half of because I almost got arrested in the theater. You can check out my review to find out what happened there. Nosferatu, Trap, Time Cut, Woman of the Hour. Ooh, I'm surprised I knew that one because that you can't read it all. Don't Move, You're a Monster, Venom 3, Salem's Lot, Smile 2, Girl Haunts Boy, which I had huge amounts of viewers on. It's crazy. Terrifier 3, Canary Black. I haven't finished Canary Black yet, so, but I will finish it before the end of the year. The 6888. Monster Summer. White Bird. Joker Folie à Deux. The Substance. Beetlejuice. The Killer. The Wasp. Reagan. Alien Romulus. Strange Darling. Cuckoo. Borderlands. Deadpool and Wolverine. Twister. Longlegs. Trigger Warning. That was one with Jessica Alba. Fly Me to the Moon. Beverly Hills Cop. That's the new one, of course. Maxine. Despicable Me. Horizon. That's the Western one that what's-his-face put his personal money into. The Quiet Place, the new one, of course. Bike Riders, Firebrand, Hitman, Bad Boys. That's the new Bad Boys. Atlas, Furiosa, Fall Guy, Challengers, and Rebel Moon. So when I do my worst of the year, you're going to find a few of these on there as well. Plus, I'm going to do one of the biggest money losers of the year as well. All right, so that's everything I saw. So I think we're upwards of 70-something movies for the year. And yeah, so let's jump into my honorable mentions. I have 3 honorable mentions of movies that I liked, but are not in the top 10. All right, the first one at 13, I guess, is Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I was really surprised that nobody went to see this film and that the film got kind of panned, because I had a lot of fun with this one. But again, I love World War II movies, and this kind of fell right into that. Henry Cavill was in it, Alan Ritchson, Isaac Gonzalez was sexy as hell in that dress, Henry Golding. Had a really good cast. It had a subject matter that I liked. It was based on a true story. I'm sure lightly based on a true story. But I really thought I had a lot of fun with that, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again. So that's my third honorable mention. The next one is Twisters. I walked into Twisters not knowing really what to expect, and my expectations were down here. But I thought this was a good follow-up movie. Had a great cast. Daisy Edgar Jones, Glenn Powell, who has a huge career going on right now. Kiernan Shipka playing a geek girl. She was obviously in 2 films this year because she was also in Red 1 playing the villain. I liked her playing the villain. She also was in that movie about the time travel. I think that was her, right? Yeah, where she went back in time almost like with a serial killer. That was last year, wasn't this year. Anthony Ramos and David Cordsweat, who is the new Superman, was also in that movie. I don't know if you knew that or not, was in Twisters. All right, so now my last honorable mention, Griselda, with Sofia Vergara. If Sofia Vergara is not up for any awards for this movie, something's wrong, because I mean she knocked this out. She wasn't even recognizable in the makeup there. She did an amazing job with that film. I mean, we got to see, her gradual. If you haven't watched it, it's definitely worth watching. Of course, it's also a biopic as well, or a biopic, depending on how you say it. But it's about her, being a drug dealer and having this immense arc to becoming the boss, and then this huge downturn where she, just starts taking her own product and starts becoming, everything that she didn't want to be. All right, so now let's jump into number 10. So this is starts my top 10 here. And we're going to pause to talk about my comics as well. But before we do that, let's jump into number 10. Deadpool and Wolverine with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. And then we have all the member berry characters, which is basically what this film is. It's a big member berry. It's just a fun little movie with not much plot. Chris Evans, Emma Corrin, who was just in Nosferatu as well. I'm not sure if you knew that or not. She plays the second female character. Daphne Keane coming back as X-23. Wesley Snipes, which I love to see him as Blade. And then Jennifer Garner coming back as Elektra. Marina Baccarin. We just had, just a host of, cameos. And Channing Tatum playing, in my opinion, a very bad Gambit. I didn't like his Gambit at all. Sorry. But I guess that it was just as bad as the other one from the other X-Men Wolverine Origins or whatever it was. Yeah. All right. Again, I'm going to have a lot of independents on here as well. So movies that you may not have seen. But the next one is number 9, and that is The Fire Inside with Ryan Destiny and Brian Tyree Henry. This movie, the first 2/3 of this movie are a Rocky movie. We get to see this build up. We get to see her win, the gold medal. Is also a biopic. There's obviously a bunch of biopics on this list. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. The last third of the movie screeches to a halt, but they wanted to talk about the fact that she was not able to get the sponsorships being a female boxer, which I also thought was very interesting, but it does screech to a halt, which is to the detriment of the film, I do think. But overall, the acting is phenomenal, and if you haven't seen this film, it's worth seeing. Then the next one, number 8, Reagan, with, I think, Dennis Quaid did a great job here. Penelope Ann Miller, I didn't really know much about. Again, another biopic. John Voight playing a Russian in this. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I learned a lot. I thought Dennis Quaid did a great job of and bringing Reagan to life. And of course, he also did it. This was all done in 2023, and they released it this year, so it's actually a last year movie. It just got released this year. All right, so the next one is number 7, Firebrand, with Jude Law and Alicia Vikander, about Henry V. Ooh, I don't know which Henry it is. Again, another historical film. Junior Reese plays Queen Elizabeth. But she's obviously younger, so she's not quite queen yet. And I thought this was an excellent film. The costumes alone are worth seeing this for. The performances are really, really good. And again, it was I had a lot of fun with this film as well. I was very interested in this part of history with the Tudors and stuff to that effect. So especially after I had gone to England a couple of years ago, so I like this one a lot. All right, another independent film too. All right, number 6, The Wasp, which I'm sure, not The Wasp like Ant-Man and the Wasp. This was just called The Wasp. And it had Natalie Dormer in it, also from the Tudors and from Game of Thrones, and Naomi Harris. This was an adaptation of a stage play, and it's really a cat and mouse game between Natalie Dormer and Naomi Harris's character, where it is a trap, but you don't know what the trap actually is. It's Natalie Dormer is hired by Naomi Harris to kill Naomi Harris's husband, who is having an affair. And they haven't seen each other in many, 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 many years, like from high school. And yeah, I don't even want to tell you the twists and turns of this thing, but it takes place almost 100% in Naomi Harris's house. So that's why I knew it was a play once I saw it, because it really never left the house. It had a few, other locations like in the beginning, but that's it. Everything else was in the house. Really, really good stuff if you haven't seen it. So before we go on to number 5 in the next half of this list, I just wanted to bring up my comic. This is my vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. It's called Lords of L.A. It is a story of vampire on vampire action. It's a little bit adult, so it's a little bit True Blood-ish meets The Godfather. So it's a Marilyn Monroe is in here as well, but it's a revenge story. So it's cool stuff. So this is all the covers. I'm fulfilling this. It's pretty much fulfilled to all my Kickstarter donors now. So I do have other covers left, but here is the Katana cover. This is the Helene leather cover. This is the Samurai cover. This is the Marilyn cover, and you can see the Nosferatu shadow there, which actually wasn't in the movie. And this is the Were-Panther one. I have a nude version of this as well. If you'd like a copy, I do sign them. They are 48 pages apiece, so they're pretty long. It's almost like a double issue. But anyway, you can just comment in the comment section or email me, and I will get one out to you. Plus, if you're a fan of noir, Timothy Zahn, who created Thrawn for Star Wars, him and Kevin J. Anderson, who wrote for Dune, the books for Dune, as well as for Star Wars. Brandon Easton, who wrote for Marvel with Peggy Carter series. They're all teaming up. A bunch of other writers. Bill Willingham. There's just a bunch of them that are teaming up for the 50th anniversary of the Green Hornet, and we're going to be launching that at the 30th of the end of January. And you can go to greenhornetnoir.com and get notified about when we're going to launch through Kickstarter, or there's a link in the description below as well. All right, definitely jump on that. It's going to be an amazing, amazing book, hardcover. It's going to be signed. It's going to be awesome. So anyway, check that out. All right, so let's jump back into the last 5 here. And again, I have hot takes here. Nobody's going to agree with me. That's how it is every year. Nobody agrees with me. Okay, so Fly Me to the Moon. I know everybody hated this film. It was a money loser from Apple. But I thought that Scarlett Johansson, I'm a big fan of Scarlett Johansson. I thought Scarlett Johansson did an amazing job. Channing Tatum, I thought, I'm not a big Channing Tatum fan. I think he's very bland. But him mixed with ScarJo, I thought they did a good job together of feeding off one another. Ray Romano had some really good scenes in here, I thought. And again, it's about history, even though it's skewed history. With I think and Woody Harrelson's in this one as well, where it's about the moon landing and them setting up the fake one, which may or may not ever have happened, just in case the moon landing didn't happen because they were in a race with Russia. Anyway, I know a lot of people didn't like that movie, but I thought it was charming. All right, number 4. Alien Romulus with Kaylee Spaney, Isabel Marced, David Johnson, who I just saw also in Bonhoeffer. That guy is phenomenal. Of all the characters I had some problems with this film. The whole ending, the very end where it should have ended and then a continued ending, that could have been removed completely. I hated that ending. The whole ending with Isabel Marced. I think they should have. Of course, she's playing Hawkgirl now too, and she was also in Dora the Explorer and in Madam Web. So she's definitely doing her rounds. But they should have given her more of action stuff with Kaylee Spaney, and that would have been better. Archie Rennell is also in it from Netflix's Shadow and Bone, if you haven't seen that. But there was some really good stuff in here. I love the scene with the floating acid. I also didn't like the fact that they, put the face on the android. They should never have done that. I mean, that looked pretty bad at times. So I had some problems with the movie, but overall, in comparison to the other Alien movies we've got, I thought it was a throwback to some of the original 2. And I enjoyed it for that reason. And then number 3, Maxine. I did like X. I know that other people were more of a fan of Pearl. I was not really a fan of Pearl. So I have the opposite opinion of everybody else. But I liked X. And then I thought Maxine was a good follow-up to X. Mia Goth knocks it out of the park. I am a huge fan of Elizabeth Debicki from the Crown, and also from Guardians of the Galaxy. She is amazing. So it was great to see her in there. Michelle Monaghan, Kevin Bacon does a great job in here as well. Lily Collins has like one scene. I don't even know why she even did it. Bobby Carnival and Giancarlo Esposito also did a really good job with the little pieces that he has. But overall, I really enjoyed this film, and it was only made for $3.5 million. And look at the amount of people that it garnered in here, amount of actors that it brought. It was great to see the 80s, brought back to life. I thought they did a really good job with that. It was just a lot of things to like about Maxine, and I'm glad it did well. I think it made like $30-something million without going to streaming, and it was made for $3.5 million. So good job, guys. And the other films were made for only $1 million each. So, and Jenna Ortega was in the first one too, and Brittany Snow, who she got naked with. Pretty cool. All right, we're on to the last two here. Last two. All right, number 2, Furiosa. I really, really enjoyed Furiosa. I thought it was a bit long, just like everybody else. But Anya Taylor-Joy, that's how you say her name. It's not Anya, it's Anya. Just FYI. And Chris Hemsworth doing a great job here. The Mad Max stuff is always lots of fun. She was not a girl boss in here at all. I really liked the whole scene of her under the truck at the time. And they're going down to fix stuff, and they find her down there, and she ends up coming up top. There was some really, really good stuff here. Then she teamed up with the other guy, which I really liked their relationship. This one had a lot of good stuff to it, but again, the front part of that was too long. I totally agree with her younger. But I thought once it got moving, it really moved. And even the mom, I forgot who played the mom. I think was it Chris Hemsworth, his wife? But anyway, she did a really great job too of everything with that. Her getting the robot arm made no sense because she couldn't really build it with one arm. Somebody would have had to do it for her. But whatever. And I know that Charlize Theron was supposed to be coming back for the role, and that didn't happen. And I know she was pissed off about that. So I thought she was happy about the fact that it lost money, but I know it lost a ton of money, probably killing the franchise completely. But that didn't make it a bad movie. All right, and number 1, we got the drum roll, please. All right, number 1. This movie did blow me out of the thing, and another low-budget independent film. In fact, they're going to count up the amount of independent films here in a second, because this shows you the change of tide of what's happening in theaters and in cinema in general. All right, Strange Darling. I walked into this movie not knowing what to expect, but I do support Kyle Gallner, who he was supposed to be in Lords of L.A. We were pitching it for a TV show, and Kyle actually came in and we did a reading of my script. I always do a reading so I can change, dialogue, or I get opinions and stuff like that. And he did come out and do the reading with us. Really, really nice guy. He was going through some problems at the time. This is, a decade ago. And I really like the fact that his career is kind of blowing up. Giovanni Ribisi has a very teeny role, but he was also the DP. I don't know if you knew that or not, but he was the director of photography, the cinematographer on this movie. Then Barbara Hershey and Egg Begley came and did like a little teeny one scene thing in it. Great to see them. It was written and directed by J.T. Molnar. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I love how it was told, where you think the good guy is one person and it ends up being the other person. So I like the whole juxtaposition. I like how it was told. In fact, I walked into the theater like a couple minutes late, and it's like on, chapter 3 already. I'm like, what the? I leave like 5 minutes on chapter 3? What the hell? Because it's all told in chapters. If you haven't seen it, you should. Really, really good stuff. I appreciate, a low-budget film, because it's really only 2 main actors. That's it. And the dialogue in it is phenomenal. Really, really good stuff. So let's check out how many independents we had. Ministry, I don't think that was it may have been an independent, but it was still a very high budget. Griselda was Netflix. Fire Inside, I think, is independent. Reagan was definitely independent. Firebrand was definitely independent. So I'll call the definites. Reagan, Firebrand, The Wasp, Maxine, and Strange Darling were definite independents. Because I think Strange Darling was like $7 or $8 million. And that's 5. So at least half of my top 10 here is independence. So just saying. That's how the direction of the market is going right now. So if you're looking to do an independent film, now is the time, because I was just talking to my buddies out in California, and there is nothing going on there. No production whatsoever. Little things here and there. I'm sure that there's some studio network stuff, but nothing in comparison to what was there just a couple of years ago. So yeah, so the networks and the studios are producing far less stuff right now. All right, so that's it from me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, give me a like, thumbs up if you can. And again, get notified of my reviews by clicking the little bell down there, ding, ding, and subscribe. Plus, if you can jump into Green Hornet, just go to greenhornetnoir.com and get notified, or click in the description below. And I will be doing a best of and the biggest money losers list as well. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. List as well. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Money losers list as well.